Okay, guys, so I feel like it's been a while since we've done this. All right, so we're going to talk about snow blindness, and that was actually a term that Mary Kay used to use. And what it means is when you look at your date book and there is nothing on it. Okay, so I can see I just washed my hair today, and it takes a night for it to calm down. I can see my little on my flyway, so it's going to be on the video. People are going to go, Leave your hair alone." All right, so snow blindness is when you have absolutely nothing on your date book and you open up your date book and it's all white. That's snow blindness. And so that is a term. I mean, I remember in your first year, I'm just going to be really honest with you. In your first year, you have to fight to prevent snow blindness because you're starting without a customer base. You're trying to start with your family and friends. Okay. And I will tell you, the people who will support you the least are the ones who love you the most. Let me say that again. The people who support you the least will love you the most. And sometimes you just got to earn their respect for you doing this business. And that's what I found, because they know, well, she doesn't do makeup. She doesn't know anything about skincare. She's in the mortgage business. What is she doing? She just started this business last month. Why is she an expert? These are the things that I'm telling myself. Marianne, same thing. She's a teacher. What does she know about skincare? What does she know about glamour? And so, a lot of times we come in thinking we're going to get rich off our family and friends, and that is never, ever the case. In fact, Mary Kay teaches us, take that off the table. That is not ever going to happen unless you had 300 people that came to your wedding or your baby shower. Most of us do not have, because a third, okay? So a third of 300 people is boom, there's your 100 customers, all right? So the majority of us have to build to 100. And I've always said magic happens at 100. And so what I want to do is go over again some of the things that I did. Okay. I am never going to give you any ideas that I didn't do. I do not teach from theory. I teach from experience and being in the field and falling down and getting back up. And so if I give you this list, I'm going to tell you if it worked, if it didn't work, how many times it took me to make it work. And that is how I kept an appointment on my date book every single week. I did not try to eat my elephant in one big bite. I was you know, uh, or one big gulp. I was one bite at a time. That's how I ate my elephant. And that way I always felt like I had a win. I've always felt like that you should try to win the day, win the week, find something that you think, okay, that was a win, because this is an emotional business and women were already emotional. Our emotions change with the win. And that's why Mary Kay used to always say, if you've got to complain or you've got to, plop on somebody, plop on your sales director. You plop up. You don't plop on a sister consultant. You don't plop on your husband. You don't plop on your significant other. Because as for men, your significant other and your husband, men are protectors, okay? They want to stop what's making you sad. They want to stop what's making you emotional, because men can't handle women's emotion. They get all like, ugh. You ever seen your husband when you get upset, he doesn't know what to do. He's like got shifty eyes. They can't handle the ups and downs of your emotions in sales. And so knowing that your emotions change with the wind, you're one phone call away from selling a lipstick and feeling high again. And that's what the men can understand. Don't call and plop on your recruiter. Don't call and plop on your sister consultant, because they're in the same business that you're in. They're dealing with the same thing. The only person that can handle your ups and downs of your emotions is your sales director, because she has been there, done it, and you know what? Wrote the book, right? And so you call me if I'm your sales director. You call Marianne if she's your sales director. That's part of leadership. Part of leadership and knowing that you're ready for leadership is when you can pull yourself out of your own pit. And that's how I know who to move forward. Is when I don't get those calls anymore that says, "There's nothing on my date book. I think I'm gonna quit." Okay, that's a learning process. That is a learning opportunity. When you can pull yourself out of this, you're ready to lead, because you cannot lead others if you don't even know where you're going, if you've always got one foot in and one foot out. So here are the things that I did that always kept um, an appointment on my date book, or also getting a new customer once a week. That was as big as my goals were. Okay. Um, and like I said, your first year is the hardest. You got to fight for that. But I promise you, once you get to 100, magic happens. Okay. So if your date book's empty, my number one rule when I was starting was, where I give business, I better get business. And if I'm not getting business there, I'm changing. I'm changing dry cleaners. I'm changing banks where I do my banking. I'm changing where, the gas station where I would pump my gas. I don't go in anymore to get my gas, but back in the day you did. And so I better get business where I get business. My hairdresser. Um, I am known to have a hairdresser for a long, long time. Okay. And it's really hard with my hair to change hairdressers. But I did, because, she never bought from me. For all those years, she never bought from me, and some other things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to my original rule, where I give business, I get business. Okay. And now my hairdresser is like one of my best customers. Okay. Um, and so make that where are you giving business? And is there someone there that you can hand a facial bag to? Ask them to be a guinea pig, ask them to do a test panel, virtual. Always have your samples and sample packs ready, and write their name down so you can follow up and you can text them. This business is so much easier than when I started. Okay. I don't know if you guys know this, but we didn't have the samples that we have now. We may have had one eye cream sample, one little eye cream sample. We didn't have microderm. We didn't have any of that. And so you just couldn't really build a virtual bag. We didn't even know what virtual was. But you can always be armed and ready. You guys know that I mail out those samples in, if they're normal to dry, in a pink packet. If they're combo to oily, I have purple envelopes. And so when I have Marianne teach in a second, I'll run to my office and I'll show you, because they're already prepackaged. Make some up for yourself, stick them in your bag. And if you go on our boards app, you can find the facial in a bag sheet and just print that out and put it in there. And if you're just handing it out to them, that way, if they don't want to do virtual, they can go home and they have the instructions. Super easy. Have a goal. Say I'm going to hand 10 of these out, 10 of these out a day. You can also do, I just made a stack of 100 gift cards that says, shop on my website, $10 for free. There's a national sales director, I think her name was Rebecca Evans. She went from a consultant, actually from a director to a national in 3 years. She handed out over 3,500 gift cards that had $10 on it, saying, shop on my website, here's free $10. She knew how to work a lead. Okay. And so they log on to her website. They start shopping. They're going to spend more than $10. She's got that lead. Now she's going to start booking them face to face. And what happens when we teach them how to use this product head to toe, right? They're going to spend more than $10. And the $10 gift certificate is not even you don't even have to facial. It's get on my website. Why is it that way? Because if they'll register on your website, which they have to do to shop, you know how to work that lead. And you say, you're a new customer, I want to get to know your skin. Here's $20 more if you'll sit down and let me get to know your skin and let you try some of these new products. I'll do a foundation matching. Boom, boom, boom. You know the words. Okay. You meet her, you build that relationship, boom, she's your customer. You're building that head to toe, increasing that ticket customer. Okay. And then your reorders go up. And so that was, I literally downloaded the gift certificate onto the Office Depot from InTouch, and I got 100 of them printed in color on cardstock for $13. And now they're in my car, and I'm just handing them out, handing them out, handing them out. Okay, it's just that's easier than handing out samples. And I know you'll get $10 in free product is $5. I know that they're going to buy more on your website than $10. Okay. All right, let's move on. If you're still in your first year and you haven't got through your, excuse me, if you haven't got through your hot list, these are the people that love you the most. We know that they're probably going to not book with you right away. But over time, let me just tell you what happens over time. Over time, after they watch and they see you're going to stick with it, and they see that you've been doing training, and they see the change, the transformation in you, in your skin, in the way, in your appearance. Once they see that happening, they will come around. I promise you. So don't burn your hot list. Keep it, for when you can revisit it again. Okay. All right. Referral list. If you've had a grand opening, you've had some parties, everybody played that referral game, you've got those. Remember, only 1 out of 20 will book on the first text. Your second and third, fourth and fifth, 80% of your bookings from those referrals are going to come from your fourth, fifth, and sixth point of contact. Okay. So you've got to revisit those and go back into your second point of contact. Change your script up. Hey, I didn't hear from you the first time. I've still got your gift certificate and your pampering package that was, gifted to you by whoever. Let me know if when it's a good time to call you. Okay. And then, second, third, change it up again. And then maybe on that fifth and sixth, hey, I didn't hear from you. I'm going to set this aside. If you decide that you want it, you can always text me back. I'll just have it filed. Okay. And then you release it. All right. But 80% of the bookings are going to come from that fifth and sixth point of contact. Now, if they reply and they say, I'm not interested, scratch them off the list. You don't hound anybody. Okay. Facial boxes. I had always had 5 to 10 out, and locally I would go pick up the names and I would book them every Wednesday morning and every Friday morning. And I would book them all at the same time. They didn't know each other, but if 3 said yes and 1 showed up, I held an appointment while my boys were napping. My boys would nap from 11 to 1, and they would nap from 11 to 1. And I would do that appointment from 11 to 1 and have the baby monitor. And so I overbooked because I knew my numbers. So you guys know this. I've said this a million times. When you know your numbers, you will not be disappointed. The emotion is taken out of it because now it's numbers. It's strategic. It is strategy. I needed to have 1. I booked 3. Okay. If 5 said yes, I knew 2 were coming. It's just the law of the numbers. It's the numbers game. But my facial boxes, I always had 5 to 10 out because early on I had two of my boxes get the name stolen out of it. And I remember going in there and to get my boxes, and they said, oh yeah, there's a ton of names in there. Actually, it was a clear fish bowl, so they could see all the names, and it was on the outside. It was I don't know why I was doing that. Glass bowls. We're much more advanced now, but it was like a little fish bowl. That's what we called it, a fish bowl. And the lady goes, "Oh, there's tons of names in there," and she goes to look for it, and it's gone. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, someone stole the names." Well, I ended up finding out it was what was that brand that was all natural? I'll think of it in a minute. But they stole my names. And then I had another box get thrown away, and it was full of names at a daycare. And I'm like, oh gosh. So that happens too. Okay. That's why you have more. You have 5 to 10 out because half are going to get thrown away, half are going to get stolen by some other direct sales, unethical company, and who knows what else. And so you just have to know the nature of the beast. I mean, you just got to roll with it, you know? Look, all that happened to me, and I'm still here. 11 cars, free cars, 1.5 million in commissions and sales, and I'm laughing all the way to the bank. So one person was not ever going to make or break my business. Okay. I never let anyone have that power over me. Vendor opportunities. You guys know I was constantly always looking for vendor opportunities. And when I found a good one, I let them know I would be back next year. I'll be back next year. And I just kept it going and kept it going. And so get in and dig in and build that relationship with the person who is putting on these events if it's a good one. Okay, I want to say something about vendor events. If you go there to just sell, you have cut your right arm off. Okay. Because if you sold and you're like, they come to you and say, it's always something that runs out fast that they want. I need a charcoal mask. And you're like, oh, okay. You sell her a charcoal mask. And she tells you, I don't have a consultant. You take her name. If you don't make her fill out a registration card where you let her win and you sit down and you've only got someone who might find you again to order a $25 item. Okay. But if you sit down with her, you got her name, you let her register, you sat down and you showed her how to use this product like she's supposed to. I'm going to say this again. I know I say it a million times on a lot of my training videos. When you inherit customers, do not ever assume that she was taught the right products to use, the right way for her. Okay. Remember, I had a 70-year-old woman show up at a party and whipped out a botanical scrub. And I'm like, what in the world? You need to be on Volufirm. We sold her a Voluform. Like, but her consultant was a 20-year-old. Guess the only thing that 20-year-old knew or had the time to learn was what she was using. And she was selling that to everyone. So please do not assume. You can assume that they don't know the right way because you know why? Their consultant quit. Because if a consultant is going to dig into this business deep enough and learn it, she's going to make money and she will never quit. Okay. It's the ones who don't give it the time and the commitment that quit. And they didn't have enough knowledge to even sell a charcoal mask. Okay. So that's my take on the vendor opportunities. Use it for what it's supposed to be, a way to build relationships, book those people, head to toe customer, not just that one-time sale of selling a basket, selling a gift set. No, you want her to register so that you can book her for that head to toe facial. Or yeah, okay. All right. Daycare moms stay out. Okay, the working moms, not the daycare workers. The working moms are the career moms. The career moms are the ones that have to have an image. They have to have, they have to look. They have to look the part to go work in corporate America. That's where the money is at the daycares. And so I would always do a working moms night out pampering. You can set that up with the daycare for a special night, or you put your box there and they fill it out on the counter. That was always very successful for me. Office of the week. Okay. If I inherited a new customer, I would first say, well, do you work in this area? And if she said yes, I'm like, well, I'll bring your product to your office. Okay. That's what you want to do. Because guess who's at the office? You don't drop it off at her door. There's women at the office. And I would say, how many women are in your office? And I would put some catalogs, some sample packs, and some gift certificates in a bag. I would actually get like a little basket at the Dollar Tree, and then I would put it together and I would tie like a little cello, like in a cello bag, and I'd put a ribbon on it. And then for her products that she ordered, I would get this really pretty gift bag with lots of tissue paper and you can and then take it. Now I used to spray with our one of our perfumes, but here's what I know. A lot of women who work in offices, there's so many fragrances that people have allergies now, and a lot of offices says, don't wear perfumes anymore. So don't spray it anymore. Just make it look really pretty. Tissue paper, and Jennifer, my offspring sales director in Calhoun, she always does national quarter sales. She literally takes her products, the box, and she wraps it in tissue paper and she has like a seal. And so each piece is wrapped up in the box with tissue paper. Like she goes like to like that's like Saks Fifth Avenue kind of customer service. So those are the kind of things. And then to your customers at the office, she's got this beautiful bag sitting on her desk. Guess what? Women, the fluff sells. And guess what? They start ordering from you. They start ordering from you. And boom, you've got new customers. You've got a lot of these new customers at that office. Okay. Gosh, I love that. That always worked really, really well for me. And it was just by, because I was a star, my name appeared, people would look for me in the area, and then the minute I got inherited a new customer, I made sure if she was a worker, I went to her office. Okay. I also did cheer and dance team fundraisers. Um, and so you could do like it's like a silent hostess. How are we doing on time? Okay, we got time. It's like a silent hostess. You've got a sheet, and if they spend 30 and there's 30 lines, that's $900. Um, that's for a silent hostess. So if you've got someone who needs, money, trying to raise money for a mission trip or a church trip or summer camp, send them around with a catalog, an order sheet, and you give them a percentage of what they sell. Guess what? You get the name of the customer, you get her phone number, and you get her address. And you tell her everybody who orders gets a gift certificate toward their next order or towards a facial. So you've got the lead sheet. That's exactly what it is. It's a lead sheet. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to book her for a facial, 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 and getting that customer head to toe. I've done that every year for many, many years. Okay. And then office of the week, I want to go back to office of the week. So even if you don't have a customer in that office, you can call, just get out, I almost said get out the phone book, because that's what I used to do. Oh my gosh, I'm showing my age. Just if you're riding around town, think of businesses, call that business, get the office manager, whatever, and say, hey, I want to drop by and bring some samples for you've been chosen as the office of the week for working women, and tell me how many women are in your office. I'm going to bring some samples, maybe some donuts, and just drop it off with your gift certificates. And that's all. And look, and just let Mary Kay, the reputation of Mary Kay, do its job. It's just putting yourself out there. Okay. So back to the cheer and dance. If it's a fundraiser, I give them a portion of my sales, but I get those leads. Those people that bought, and I can follow up. Mary Kay consultants know how to work a lead. Okay. And then we talked about silent hostess. That's where somebody works in an office, she needs some money, you tell her to pass around the office, and say if you fill out these 30 lines with at least $30, that's $900. I'm going to give you, like, your half on that's $450, so I'm going to give you $150 as a thank you. Or you say, I'm going to give you $150 in free product, and that's half of that, so you get to pocket more money. But now you've got 30 new leads. So you get 10 of those hostess packets out, and there's 30 on there. That's 300 new leads. A third, right? Boom, you've built to 100 customers really fast. It's things like that, okay? Fight for that new customer per week, fight for that new appointment a week. There's also, I did this one time. Actually, I've done this several times. Host a class, help a cause. I had a customer who had cancer, and it was Christmas time, and they were self-employed. She and her husband They painted houses, and she had breast cancer and she couldn't work. And so they were struggling. And so I held parties for her, and I was able to donate money back to her to help for Christmas. And I used to read the little letter that her daughter wrote me, and her name was Taylor. And Taylor's probably the age of Ryan now, and who's almost 25. And she was 8, and she said, "Miss Michelle, thank you." She said, "I watched you do all these parties, and when I turn 18, I'm going to do the same." I mean, it just broke my heart. Thank you for the donation. I mean, that is a paycheck of the heart. And I gave, to be able to give and help that family, during Christmas. And so that was host a class, help a cause. And then there's my favorite, the test panels. Now that we have all these great new products that launch every quarter, um, you just call your existing customer base and say, "Hey, I've got these new products. Will you be my guinea pig?" Because every woman knows an average of 6 different groups of people. And so you can go back to that customer base that you've established and do those test panels with her church friends now, her neighborhood friends now, her work friends now. And, boom, boom, boom. It's that perpetual hostess. And then Glamour Portfolio, I did that. That's where I would call all the realtors that I knew, insurance agents, and I would say, "Hey, I'm building a portfolio. This is for social media." And I had a portfolio that I would take around to all my appointments, and it had their business card and their makeover. And people would flip through and like, "Oh, I need a realtor, this and that." It was like advertising. You guys could do that so much better now on your social media. You can say, "This is my realtor and I did her makeup. This is my insurance agent and I did her makeup. This is my pharmacist, I did her makeup." Look for those professionals who have to dress the part. Those are the people who are going to buy the most from you. Okay. If you keep trying to put the product on people who do not take care of themselves, you are going to keep having no sales or low sales. You cannot make them want to change their image. Look for the people who need and dress the part, who need this because they have to dress the part, they have to have the image. Those are the ones who invest in their looks. You cannot make people want to invest in their looks. And so I made that mistake early on. I kept calling people that I wanted to fix. And you can't fix them, okay? You just have to accept it. They're not going to help you. They're not going to buy from you. Stop inviting them and move on and go look for the people who want to you know, look presentable and want to take care of their looks. Okay, Marianne, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let me pin you.
Hey, I only have just a couple things. Some when Michelle was talking about all the different numbers, sometimes whenever you get frustrated in your business, we all have highs and lows. If you're frustrated, just recognize there's nothing wrong with you. You didn't become uncalled to this. Your why is still there. I want to encourage you. We do come in for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. Just know that you're meant to be in here until you accomplish the things that you set out to do in the first place, whether they're big or small, So whenever your season is, make sure you finish your season because you don't want to carry around that regret. So when you get frustrated, just look at it and say, you know what, I probably don't have enough numbers, and just recognize when you have more numbers, yeah, it's super fun. Like there's nothing hard, nothing sad when you have plenty of numbers. And this will keep you busy all year. Like this is so great. This is so gold. Like if this is the only thing you focus and work on, awesome. Okay. And then you can get really good at each thing because you'll need different things in different seasons. Like the fundraisers for cheer and dance teams now is a really good season because for high schools, they're doing tryouts right now, which means they're going to start fundraisers right now because they have to have all their money turned in before June 1st when they go to camp. So leverage that window of time. Opportunities come and go in windows of time, and you can't just like wait for forever and just do whatever you feel like it. You got to like read the room. And then when Michelle was talking about those cards, she's just passing out cards. I wanted to connect and point out what she just said. She is passing it out to sharp women who she knows will look like her, you know, who would love to wear our brand, not people that need to be fixed. Okay. So just so you know, otherwise you might I handed out a whole box of cards and got zero business. Whole box when I first got started. One's on In Touch, where I paid a pretty penny for them, but I also didn't get their number either, you know, because I was too chicken. So if you're not going to ask for the number, don't pass out your card. Just wasted money. Yeah, those are the only things that I had to add to all that. That's awesome. I took like 4 pages of notes.
Awesome. So I think the $10 card that I was telling you about, guys, I think it's on my boards app under gift certificates. I think it's on there. If not, I'll go put it on there because I had to go back and find it because I had to reprint some I did a career day at a local elementary. No, it was a local. Yeah, it's a local elementary school for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And there's over 900 kids at that school. So I guess if I did 3 of the 6 grades, then I may have saw like 400, and they didn't all come to they let them come in rotations. And so I was there for 2 hours talking, and they come in increments. But I kept sending them home. Give that to your mom. Give that to your mom. Give that to your mom. You know, we'll see. But it was there. It was a volunteer thing, and I had fun talking to the kids. Go ahead.
I'll be going to this week. I am going to pamper the domestic violence survivors at our YWCA. So that's a volunteer time, but there's a staff that works there. And so I will be able to connect and do business with the staffers. And you never know later on, some of those people who come out of that later on who will come back and say, I'm ready to take care of myself. You know, thank you so much for how you taught us. It helped me so much. It gave me so much courage during that time. So there's a lot through that. Also with high schools do career days. And I think especially for ours, it's coming up here in the spring. So that's a great way to connect and even recruit for some of those kids who are in DECA. They know business. All you got to do is put the product on their face, show them the business plan. And when they're 18, they are on board. Okay. So yeah, half the training's already done.
Awesome. All right, guys. I hope this was helpful, and I'm glad that you guys are on. We had a big group tonight. Thank you. And don't forget now, when you have a $100 day sale, make sure you text me because we're adding them up. And if we have $1,000 in reorders or sales for that day, I'm going to give away a gift card. Okay. So it's just a team effort, but the drawing, your name will go into the drawing. So don't forget, keep sending me those $100 days. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save them for at night when I get home, and I'll post them. That way I'm not running around stopping and, posting them all during the day and having to repost. Okay. Then I'll keep them added, and then I'll show you what the total is. All right. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Y'all are too quiet.
We talked the whole time, Michelle. Duh.
I know. I wanted to talk to him. I haven't seen him in a while.
Bye.
Bye. Coffee this week.
Blow up your Voxer this week.
I know.
Bye, you guys.